spotlight on the women creating an impact, leading organizations, and mission-focused strategic programs across the federal technology and consulting community. This is Impact. I am being joined today by Dolores Kuchina-Musina, the CEO and founder of REXOTA Solutions. Thank you for hopping on with me today, Dolores.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a big pleasure. Thank you so much for having me as a guest.
Absolutely. So first, tell me about what it is you do there at REXOTA.
So, I founded REXOTA in 2021, and my goal was to educate people and to get comfortable with contracts. It's usually the last thing that we think about, but it's one of the most important parts of doing business. It's the way we get paid. It's the way that we solidify our relationships. And I just wanted to have all of the contract professionals feel more valued. And I felt that by doing that through education, by helping advise companies through the process, they could start seeing how important the role was. So small nudges in the right direction. So REXOTA was founded on those principles of educating, of advising, of helping people feel more comfortable. And we've helped so many small businesses. We've also worked with medium and large companies, as well as just do research to help push along the thought process, but also find new ways of doing creative contracting so that we have new approaches or leverage the approaches that we know in institutional knowledge have existed, but try to work them in the current environment. So a lot of exciting stuff, and moving into the international space has been, I think, the part that I've been most excited over the last year.
That's amazing. It's amazing. Now, looking at your whole journey, what experiences do you believe help shape how you lead, and how do they influence the way that you lead today?
That's a great question. For me, I thought about this, and I really thought about the first three bosses that I really had and what I learned from each and every single one of them. And what inspired me about all three of them was their ability to take a brand new concept to someone and make it seem approachable, and not make me feel in some way less than because I didn't understand it. It was, hey, you don't understand it, but you have to meet me halfway, which means I will show you, but you're going to have to do the work to really comprehend and get it and then take it to the next level. And honestly, I think those three managers really shaped the way that I viewed on how to teach people and how to mentor people. You can give people the door. You can't necessarily force them to walk through it. But the people that are up for the challenge, they are the folks that you're going to really lean in on and depend on. And I think as a leader, you try to find not only folks that can coach you the same way that you need to be coached, but also you find individuals that you have the same, I don't want to say vibe or energy, but you almost have a very similar way of working, and you see potential in people that they might not see in themselves yet. And so just thinking back to that, especially this morning as I was preparing for this, I was thinking that's what they did for me. Like, they saw potential in me, this like bright-eyed, oh my God, I love contracts. I want to do government contracts person. They didn't go, oh, you're too young, like you don't understand, or you're too fresh. They said, okay, let me show you what I have learned over the years. And then when I discovered something new, they were really excited, and they actually used those things, and that empowered me to find new solutions. So I think that's definitely what has shaped me, especially now as I'm like starting to enter the mentor stage and the coach stage for a lot of people. I think back to the three of them for sure.
And when you said vibe, I think it is a vibe. If you don't have the same sort of vibe with a person,
yeah,
whether it's a mentor, a leader, anything, you're never going to connect. Like the ones that I work with right now, we are all just jokesters. And if there used to be one person that worked with us that wasn't, and she just sort of got weeded out. And it's just sort of like, if you don't have the same personality types, it doesn't work.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
So now as a leader, how do you ensure that you're aligned with your core values and long-term vision?
So the way that I align with it is I have to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing. And again, why did I start Rexata? Why did I want to go on my own? Why I didn't want to work for somebody else? And I have to remember it was about balance. It was about harmony in my life. And it was also because I have a different viewpoint of how I think we should do even government contracting, but contracting as a whole. There's definitely principles, there's contract law, all of those are there, but the approach has to be different. And, I mean, even applying to jobs, do you want to apply to a job that tells you you're just going to be doing price and cost analysis and determining who gets the award? Or would you rather work for someone that views contract management as like, hey, you are responsible for a $6 billion project. You're responsible for executing that, making sure the right people are on it, making sure that everyone is working towards the deliverables that they have to work towards. Like that's exciting, but we don't talk about it that way. And so reminding myself of that and reminding that it was for me to spend more time with my family constantly, like almost every day, has reminded me that there's other people that view it that way as well. And so again, finding the people that believe in finding those unique ways and being creative and that there is a creative element to all of this helps set me up to remember the path that I'm supposed to be on, especially during those really dark days where I'm like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
what is this? Why did I say yes to this? I have to walk it back. I have to walk it back to
Yep.
why did we start in the beginning?
So times are changing. What advice would you give to women about staying grounded with their purpose and continuing to grow?
So I would say that for them, I would give the advice of breathe, take a moment and figure out what you need to protect your peace. I think right now more than ever with the back and forth of the news, policy changes, even how we're working is changing. We're going back to the office, something as simple as that that's been in the works since last year. We have to be able to find the place where we can protect ourselves, and we have to find a space where we can just not just don't
Yeah.
disconnect whatever it is. And I've had to do that. And I've actually had a lot of conversations with my friends where you just have to find that space. And so like, for example, my husband and I, since we've met, we've instilled Family Friday, which is you turn off your phone. We can't talk about work. We can't talk about school. We can talk about what we're watching. We can talk about how we're doing. We can talk about what we want to do this weekend, but everything else has to be put to the side. And that has really like instilled of like, you cut out that space for
Hmm.
yourself.
That's really important. And it's important for women too, not even just with their family, for themselves, cut out that space where you have the time for you. It's also
Mhm.
very important. So what are some practical ways that women can foster a culture of collaboration and empowerment in leadership roles?
I would say don't forget the little girl that you were. And we remember ourselves as being, fearless when we were little. We asked the question. We didn't forget that like people around us are also curious. And when we get older, I mean, I'm watching my little sister grow up. She's in college now. And she's starting to question a lot of the things of like, am I capable of doing this? Am I able to? I'm like, hell yeah, you are. Like
Yeah.
you didn't question that this entire time, or maybe you did it silently. But take the chance and remember that. And also just remember that the people around you probably have the same doubts as you do. So I remember this really like popular video, and I don't know if you remember this, but it was of the two basketball players. I think they were in high school, and one of them made a bad play, and he kind of put his head down, and the other player came and raised his head. That's what we have to be for other people. Like we have to see people when they're starting to get down, and we have to rise them up. But we also have to be able to do that for ourselves. And I think it's easier for us to do it for others
Yeah.
than it
Yeah.
is for us.
Absolutely.
But remember that little girl. Remember why you're doing this. Remember the things that motivated you then are probably the same things that motivate you now. A little treat yourself moment, find the sunshine, find the smile that you need. I mean, right now it's like sometimes you just need someone to be on the phone with and just go, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired. I need a spa day. So if you hear that, like schedule a pedicure with your friend, encourage them, send them $5 for a Starbucks coffee or $10 for a Starbucks. Those little things make such a huge difference. And I know it's like another thing you have to think about. I get that. But do it for yourself too. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I sent somebody $10, but you know what? Maybe I deserve a little extra fancy coffee. So I'm just going to do that for myself. So I would just say find that playful side of you and remember that the people around you are also going through something. It's just they're not showing it. And so just be attentive to that. And I think right now, just kindness, and understanding and grace for people. If they're falling behind, don't put pressure on them, give them the space and also do something fun. Like just get out there, dance.
Yes.
Like I dance it out all the time. I put on music. I hop around the house. The animals all think I'm crazy. But it helps. Sing
Hmm.
at the top of your lungs, things like that. Like just put yourself back in that space and that makes you happy.
I love that. So, have you personally experienced the impact of a strong support system among women in your own professional path?
Sometimes, yes.
I
I
have seen, I don't know about you, and maybe it's a strong support system is what I enjoy to see, but I have seen this situation where there's one seat at the table for women and they fight over it. And
yes.
I want to get away from that as much as possible.
Yes, I've seen both. I've had one leader that I worked with and she just there was something about me that she just did not like. And
Hmm.
it was really strange because she was like an executive at a company and I was like beginning my career, first time in. And at every point, like she had to reprimand me for everything I was doing. And it was like really starting to get to me. And
Yeah.
finally, my leadership was like, she's very unhappy in her life and she's taking it out on the person that doesn't know her. I was very
Right.
new to the team too. And I just didn't understand it because I've always heard of how like women band together
Hmm.
and I've just seen this where sometimes I think we show people what they want to be or what they thought they could be. And it scares them. And so the easiest thing to do is shun. I also had a manager and she was my first manager in contracts. I She changed the game for me when it came to women empowering other women. I mean, when she saw I was unhappy, she would pull me in the office. We would talk about how we would redistribute work. She would give me projects, put me in front of leaders. And when it was time to go, because she knew I wasn't going to get a promotion because it wasn't in the budget, I wasn't going to get a raise. She she straight up told me, she's like, I get it. Like, if you want to leave, I understand. But if you're planning to leave, I want to help you with your resume. I want to help you validate the jobs because I don't want you to go somewhere that you're going to hate. Like, I want you to go somewhere that you'll actually enjoy. And like my eyes like just opened up. I was like, there are people like this out there that like actually want to see you succeed. And so again, like she may have not necessarily known that that made such a big impact on me. And I always tell her I'm very grateful for her. But seeing someone believe in my career that much that she was willing to let me go, but help position me in the way that made me successful made all the change in the world. And now I would say the women that are in my circle now are actually everyone in my circle now are individuals that are always there to support and will say my name in rooms that I'm not in. They will uplift me. If they haven't heard from me in a while, they will text me. And they don't view me as competition. They view me as someone that they can leverage as a resource, as someone to help them grow, because that's how I view them too. There's so much to learn from them. And so it's more, again, leaning on that curiosity aspect, right? Being able to lean on each other, learn from each other. If you find people with that vibe, I think that's what you're looking for. And again, maybe we do have to fight for the seat, but we could always just, like scooch in and kind of like get in there together, or build our own table, build our own table, build our own chair, whatever is needed. We're going to figure it out together. We don't have to fight for it.
Do you think there's going to be a problem moving forward with what we see going on of adding those chairs to the table?
I do. I see on the industry side, more women are becoming CEOs of really big companies. I see certain type of expertise. I would say also a certain type of persona being promoted when it comes to, especially with women, there's, you have to be of certain age in order for you to be in that position. Right. You have to have certain years of experience, which I understand. But I also see we are going back to, I think, what we were used to in the 90s and 80s, especially in this space, of where it is hey, money talks. You have to be in a certain profession to be in there, or certain expertise, which leaves out certain people. Mm-hmm. And I think policy is also showing us that we're getting rid of certain things right. that I know are a sensitive topic. Which again, I just read an article about how having an advanced degree is a setback. And I was always taught that, don't flaunt your Ph.D. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I spent 6 years on this thing, and I clawed my way to finish. I will tell everyone I have my Ph.D. Right. Even when I don't feel like sharing it. So I think it's time for us again every single time we talk about this, I think it's time for us to look around the room and see the people that, again, have their heads down. They're not seeing that there's a possibility for them to be at the table. Give them the seat. Give them the seat. Let them have it. There's a reason why you have that privilege to give them that seat, and you have the opportunity. And it does not hurt you to give that seat to someone else. You can go build your own. You might have the strength, the capability, the know-how of how to do it. That other person may not have the courage to speak up for themselves. So help push those people along. You'll find a way. And by you doing that, that encourages them to do it for somebody else.
I love it. Dolores, is there anything else you would like to add?
I think I would just like to add, again, to just pin it on, find your happy, find the song that just motivates you. For me right now, it's Kelly Clarkson, Go High. I put it on, and it makes me just so happy, because I'm I got this. That deep breath that Kelly Clarkson does in the middle of the song. I'm yes, I needed that. And make your blanket burrito, make your safe space. If it's a pillow fort, make a pillow fort. But find your happy. You have to cut that slice out, because you cannot be dragged down by all of this. People are going to be depending on you at some point. And so you have to protect yourself.
Awesome. Well, Dolores, thank you for hopping on and speaking with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And now I got to go listen to the song. So I'm going to go listen to it.
Awesome. Thank you. For listening. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you're keeping up to date on the latest episodes, and learn more at govforum.io.